think we're live. Hopefully, we are. And hopefully, there's someone who literally, as I click live, right outside my window, started chainsawing. So, hopefully, you guys can't hear that. But if you're here and you can see me and you can hear me okay, if you don't mind putting something in the chat to let me know, that would be wonderful. So, not last weekend, but the weekend before, I came on, did a live. I had found some great Wi-Fi and internet connection, and went on live and reached out to just kind of reached out to everybody and let them know how things are going, how things were happening, what things were happening in North Carolina during the hurricane. And it occurred to me today I should do another little update, just kind of check in with you guys. Um, and you can see Orange Kitten is back here behind me. She's ready for dinner, so she might be vocal during this. But so first of all, I do want to say thank you for all the kind comments and remarks on different posts I've shared. Throughout all of this, I've done my best to um, not worry, and also to let spirit guide me on how to best navigate things. And I I'm grateful that I've had this opportunity to kind of share these different stories with you all. I have One of the things that I try to do is learn and then share what I learn, and I try to navigate that way. So when I have an experience like this weekend when I was loaded down with donations, and I can share that experience with you all as an opportunity for us all to learn how spirit will work through us. That's what I do. So I appreciate all the kindness and beautiful comments. So I was very fortunate through the Hurricane Helene, because there's another one. But Hurricane Helene, I was very fortunate. I was um, just west enough that it did not impact my county as much as you're seeing just 30 minutes away from me. When you start getting into Waynesville, Asheville, you just started to see so much flooding. And we have here in Swain County, we are having things like roads are washed out, people are displaced, people lost their homes. We do have that, but we're not seeing the same magnitude that we're seeing further east. And I feel very fortunate that I was not impacted in the same way. Um, in North Carolina, people are still without power. People are without internet. People are without water and ways to shower. Um, there's people that we're in the mountains, so people have places that they have homes in the mountains, and their road to get out of their homes was washed away. So they've been trapped. They've not been able to leave. People are using, and it's one of the cool things about what I'm seeing here is how communities are coming together. There's help coming in from outside sources, but we've got communities coming together to help each other. I've seen where people are like, I have access to a helicopter. Who needs to be evacuated from a mountain who can't get down? People have horses and mules, they're using those to take those supplies up to people who can't get out. There's people that are avid hikers that are out searching to see if people are okay. So it's really been a beautiful experience to see how all of this is coming together and how people are supporting and helping each other. When I was driving to Indiana on Friday, I looked over, and there were all these linemen headed south. And I knew that they were on their way to help various communities. And I saw some that had symbols from Canada on them. So we even have our neighbors from Canada coming down to assist us. It makes me emotional to think about all this help that's coming to these, not necessarily my community, but my communities next door. Um, I've also been seeing where people who have Starlink, which is an internet provider using satellite, are showing up with their satellite dishes so that people who haven't been able to communicate with their loved ones are able to get online and communicate and let their folks know that they're safe. It's just been a really humbling experience. It's been a very touching experience. I think a lot of us here can also feel a little bit of trauma, right? Like this, even those of us who were very, very fortunate, like myself, there's a bit of trauma, and knowing that so many people are impacted almost right next to you. But there's a lot of beautiful help that's coming in, and that's been wonderful to see. I have some notes to make sure I don't ramble too much. Animal shelters are full of animals that have gotten displaced, so that's something else that's happening here. And I work part time, and I sit next to a call center, and where I live is very touristy, and so people have had to cancel reservations and things. And I can hear the gals on the phone working with customers, and comments they've gotten have been about, well, why weren't you guys prepared for this? And so I did want to kind of share a little bit of that in case anybody had also have wondered that. I know if I wasn't in this area, I don't know that I even would have thought too much about it. Western North Carolina, we're not actually very close to the coast. For me to drive to the North Carolina coast is 8 hours. It is actually a shorter drive for me to get to my family in Indianapolis than it is for me to get to the coast of Eastern North Carolina. North Carolina is a really long state, and then going south, the coast is even further. So it's quite a distance. And this area is more prepared for a lot of, we get a lot of rain here. But hurricanes, typically what we see is just, some rain, some leftover rain hitting us. So what has happened is before the hurricane even got here, this is an area that gets a lot of rain. And so we had already gotten a lot of rain. The ground was very saturated. And then on Friday, before I lost all services, I was watching the radar. I check it several times. And what I noticed is that Helene was just circling over us. And what was happening is, I'm not an expert in this, but between the mountain ranges and the atmosphere, for whatever reason, the hurricane wasn't continuing its trek north for a little bit. For several hours, she just circled over us, and that continued to dump. I've heard reports of 20 to 30 inches of rain. So you had a ground that was already saturated, and then you added so much rain. It just mudslides, and roads were washed out. It was just an unbelievable amount of rain. I'm really close to a creek, and I was concerned about getting blocked and not able to get out. So throughout the night, I got up multiple times to check because I didn't want to get blocked, and I wanted to be able to let my neighbors know if we needed to evacuate. But we were very fortunate, and it got very close, but it never actually went over. So I shared that over the weekend, I was going to be in Indiana for my nephew's birthday, and earlier last week, we had a lot of supply chain issues in the area, and there are still supply chain issues in the area, but it has improved since last week. And I knew I was going to be coming up to see my nephew. As long as I could get north, I was going to go. And it occurred to me I should get my groceries while I was up there. That way I wasn't impacting the supply chain here. I could kind of lessen that burden by getting my groceries somewhere else. And I had planned to purchase some donations, and I thought, well, I'll just do that while I'm in Indiana. And then it kind of occurred to me, I was like, I should see if I have any people that want to donate. And I was blessed with a lot of donations. I shared a photo on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube earlier. So I shared that story and everything earlier. But if someone is feeling called to give, There are lots of places that are looking for financial support. It's going to take a really long time to rebuild. I have never had this type of experience being from Indiana. We've had tornadoes that are can be pretty really serious. I've never been in a situation where there's so much devastation. And what we have a tendency to do, and I've been guilty of this, is our mind shifts to the next big disaster. We have another hurricane in Florida. So we have a tendency, if you're not in the area, to just start to shift your attention to whatever is next in the news. And it wasn't until I've had this experience that I realized how long it's going to take to rebuild. Oh my gosh, it doesn't just magically get fixed. It's years. It's people who have lost, a lifetime potentially of, their homes, their cars, their belongings, and having to completely rebuild. That can take a lot of time. So donations are wonderful ways that you can help, and it doesn't have to be today, right? Like, because this is a thing that people are going to need help for a long time, and not just here. Again, there's natural disasters that happen all over the place, but something to kind of I will now be more aware of is just that it takes a long time to build. And just because we didn't donate in the first 5 minutes doesn't mean that those donations don't matter, even if they're 6 months later. So if you do feel called to make any donations around North Carolina, Asheville was hit pretty hard. Asheville's about 60 miles from me, and it was hit really, really hard. There's an organization called Beloved Asheville that's just been like on the ground, getting people water, organizing supplies, getting supplies out to people. They have done a lot. They're on Instagram. You can get on there, look for them at Beloved Asheville, and you can see the work they're doing. They would be a great place to donate. Another one would be Manna Food Bank, MANNA Food Bank. They have a food bank in Asheville. They have a food bank in other areas, like the area that I live in. So that's another great one to donate to if you feel called. I collected a bunch of donations from friends and family this weekend, and I physically took them to an organization here in Bryson City called Darnell Farms. And they're a farm, but they suffered quite a bit of flooding. They were right next to the Tuckasegee River. They suffered a lot of flooding, and then they kind of, because they had all this land, decided to just kind of make themselves a little headquarters for donations. And so they're taking physical donations. They've got volunteers that are going out into areas where people can't get to them and bringing donations to people. Another thing I hadn't thought about until I've had this experience is we can set up all these donation centers. However, people who can't get to them aren't getting the donations. And so we need to go to the people. So Darnell Farms has been doing that by organizing volunteers and donations and sending them out to folks. So that's where I took a bunch of donations out recently. I do know that they are taking funds. So if someone feels called to financially support, that's another place. Also, churches, there's lots of churches that are out in this whole area that are helping communities. And animal shelters, again, they are super full. Animals got separated from their homes and are just wandering around. Meanwhile, you have people that are just worried about where they're going to get food and water, and hoping that their pet will come home. And what I've seen is that the animal shelters are full, and there's not very many people coming to get them because we have no idea what's happened, but it could be the folks don't have a car, they don't have a way, they don't have food for their pets. So another great way to help in this area would be animal shelters. They could use financial donations to help buy food for these animals. And another one here in Swain County is Restoration House. They're doing a lot to help with food. They started last week with serving hot meals, and they've served over 1,000 meals so far, which is a beautiful thing. So, in a couple of weeks, I am doing a free live. Every month I do a free Reiki live, and I had to cancel this last one because I didn't have internet or cell phone service, and I pushed it out to October 20th. So on October 20th, if you feel called, join us. Where I'm going to do this live, and we're going to include a special spiritual prayers, energy, just wrapping up the planet with love and just putting good energy out. And when we have a collective doing it, it's super powerful. So we're going to do that on the 20th. So I'm also, if you're interested, next Thursday, I'm doing a full moon workshop. Oh, it's not really a workshop. It's kind of a ceremony and ritual to just kind of let go of things, release things. We'll be doing some energy clearing where I'll be offering Reiki. So that will be something that I am doing next Thursday. That one is $11.11 to attend. So if you're interested, you're welcome to do that. But I did want to hop on. I wanted to give everyone a update. I know like I said earlier, it occurred to me I did an update when I didn't have power and services, and I wasn't really sure what was going on. And it occurred to me I should do another update and just let you guys know that I'm very fortunate. I'm good. I'm looking at different ways I can help my own community. Last week I served lunches, brought donations down this weekend, and next week I'm hoping to go volunteer at different places like Darnell Farms to help bring supplies out to people. So I wanted to give you an update and let you guys know what's going on. And I just want to close my eyes for a moment, and you're welcome to join me. And let's just send love, just to send love out to all of those who are affected all over the planet, right? Like, I'm just talking about North Carolina, but there's stuff going on all over. We have our own inner battles that we're fighting. We have different things that happen, like natural disasters. We have a lot that is happening, and I just want us all to just send loving energy out to the whole planet. And what I like to do is just picture the planet in front of my heart, and just picture it slowly spinning. And then I know that we all have big, beautiful hearts and beautiful heart energy. And I just allow my heart energy to just flow and surround the planet. And while we're putting that energy out there, I'm going to set the intention and call to the higher selves of all beings that if there's anyone, it could be a person, an insect, an animal, a bird, a fish, a plant, anything that wishes to receive this energy from us, may it flow to them. May they receive exactly what they need. I ask Spirit, I ask our earth, I ask our angels and guides to be with us through all of these things. Surround us with love and support. Help us to be kind to one another, be gentle with one another, to remember that we don't know what others are going through. And when you feel complete, when you feel that you've sent and just really saturated the planet with loving energy, just allow yourself to pull your energy back and just know that you have sent love to all of those who wish to receive it. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this journey with me, for just watching and listening and sending love out. Um, Hopefully, you can join me when we do the free live coming up on the 20th, and send a lot of love out to those who are in need. Um, Thank you. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.